She was just an ordinary cashier, overworked, underpaid, and barely surviving with her sick little girl. But in one single day, life pushed her past the breaking point. When she finally picked up a gun, the entire country stopped and watched in shock.
I never stole nothing a day in my life. I had this gun.
How did a struggling mother go from begging for $40 to becoming the most feared woman in America?
Every fucking thing I do it myself.
Janiyah woke up at 6 a.m. in her dingy, untidy apartment. She's a single mother raising a sick daughter named Arya.
I'm old enough to bathe myself.
I don't want you to fall and hurt yourself.
While giving her a bath, Arya complained that her teacher was bullying her because their family couldn't afford $40 for lunch.
Did she say that in front of the whole class?
Even though Janiyah was struggling to make ends meet, she gave her last bit of change to a disabled alcoholic. She somehow found the money to help him.
Oh, so you can give him money, but you can't pay me my rent.
Yet she couldn't even pay her own rent. Now she had until 10 a.m. to pay up.
All your little shit gonna be right out there on the street.
After dropping Arya off at school and waving to her surprise teacher, Janiyah rushed to her job at a busy store.
You gonna help us?
Just gotta clock in.
The place was packed with angry shoppers, and with one cashier out sick, only 2 registers were open. Janiyah was exhausted and barely moving.
She gonna walk her ass up here all slow.
One family tried to pay for their groceries with a social security card, but she reminded them that it wasn't allowed.
Bitch, I do this all the time.
In response, a man angrily threw a glass bottle at her feet. A friend at work sympathized with Janiyah's situation and offered her some money to buy medicine for her daughter.
I can't take that from you.
Janiyah held on to hope that this difficult period would eventually end. She planned to study to become a nurse and believed things would get better. Suddenly, the school called to accuse her of hitting Arya.
I told you how sick she is.
In reality, the little girl had simply fallen in the bathroom. Janiyah's boss, Richard, ordered her back to the floor immediately, but she begged him to let her leave for the school.
Janiyah, there's always something with you, some bullshit.
Only to be told harshly that she'd better be back within half an hour. Desperate, Janiyah asked Richard for her paycheck right away, but he coldly sent her away.
Baby, if you don't get out of my face, get on out of here.
She ran to the bank to withdraw her last $40, but the ATM refused to dispense cash, forcing her to stand in a long line.
I'm sorry, but you have to wait in line.
Meanwhile, social workers had already arrived at Arya's school. They announced they were taking the child into custody until an investigation could be completed.
I wanna go with my mama!
No.
The teacher reported that Aria often came to school hungry and unkempt. Janiyah explained that her daughter was on a special diet due to her illness.
She can't even eat everything. You know this.
And though they had no hot water or gas at home, she still bathed her every day.
I give her exactly what the doctor tells me to give her.
None of that mattered. The decision had been made. Arya was being taken away. Devastated, Janiyah left the school. On her way back, another driver nearly hit her.
You stupid fucking bitch!
Then angrily threw a coffee cup at her car. Not satisfied, the man rammed into her vehicle. To her shock, the driver turned out to be a police officer. The cold-blooded cop threatened to smash her into the pavement next time.
Legal way to fucking blow your brains out, you hear me?
When his partner finally pulled him away, Janiyah discovered her license had expired. Instead of compassion, the officer wrote her a ticket and confiscated her car.
I'm gonna write you a ticket, impound your car.
Janiyah was left without a car and returned to the store completely shattered. She had been gone for over 2 hours, and her boss was fed up with her excuses.
You got too many fucking excuses. Your ass is bad.
And now he refused to give Janiyah her paycheck immediately. According to company policy, it would be mailed later. But Janiyah needed the money today. When she finally made it home, she found all of her belongings dumped outside in the pouring rain. The landlady had followed through on her threat. Janiyah broke down hysterically, screaming at the top of her lungs. After regaining some composure, she returned to the store and desperately begged Richard for her paycheck.
I'm not gonna have no way to live for me and my daughter.
Just then, two armed robbers stormed into the office and ordered Richard to hand over all the cash from the registers.
Put it down! Get on the ground! Okay! All right!
They also tried to take Aria's backpack, which held her vital medication. Janiyah resisted and, in the struggle, managed to grab the gun. She shot one of the robbers, while the second fled. Instead of thanking her, Richard accused Janiyah of setting up the robbery.
There's been a robbery, and the woman who works for me, she set this up.
He called the cops and told them she had orchestrated the entire thing. Furious, Janiyah
Apparently, you're gonna be for prison.
Janiyah had shot her boss. Janiyah didn't touch the stolen cash. She only took her paycheck and went to the bank to try and cash it. The branch was already closed, but the manager, Nicole, took pity on her and instructed the security guard to let her in.
Let her in.
Meanwhile, police arrived at the store to investigate. Detectives reviewed the surveillance footage, and the killer's identity was immediately clear. The only question left was whether Janiyah had truly been involved in the robbery. A friend of hers insisted she wasn't guilty.
I'm telling you, she wouldn't do it.
At the bank, Nicole explained that they couldn't cash the check without valid identification.
Look, you can speak with our manager, and maybe she can help you, but I...
Frustrated, Janiyah placed her gun on the table.
Oh, God.
Nicole discreetly pressed the silent alarm and confirmed to the police that the bank was being robbed.
She has a bomb.
What looked like a bomb. In reality, it was just Aria's school project. Back at the scene, detectives were preparing to search Janiyah's home when they received word that their suspect was currently robbing a bank.
What are you doing? I don't want that.
Tellers began pulling stacks of cash from the drawers, even though all Janiyah had asked for was her $500 paycheck. Confused, Janiyah tried to understand why the tellers were panicking.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I don't know what's wrong with her. Can you please?
But by then, the bank had been surrounded by police cars. One frightened customer attempted to grab her gun. When that failed, he bolted outside with a security guard. Janiyah, now waving the weapon, shouted in frustration, unable to understand why everyone was treating her like a criminal.
Get out!
Across the city, the news broadcast flashed. Bank robbery in progress.
Now, from what we have learned, the suspect's name is Janiyah Wiltkinson.
The report warned that the suspect was a dangerous criminal who had already killed 2 people. Detective Raymond volunteered to act as the negotiator.
Robbed by a man, set up by a man, she killed a man.
Janiyah was surprised to see so many police officers around.
You're hurt, and we don't want that in this situation, okay?
Listen, I didn't rob the bank.
After all, she had just come to cash her check. Meanwhile, the woman continued holding the bank employees at gunpoint, shouting,
I just came to get the money for my baby.
Raymond pleaded with her to at least release the hostages, but Janiyah hung up on him. She got her $500 and asked that $40 of it be given to her daughter for lunch because she didn't believe she would make it out alive.
Take it. Please.
That aggressive cop would definitely shoot her. Raymond promised her, so Janiyah ordered the blinds to be closed and began thinking about what to do next. The elderly men in the bank were furious with the robber, insisting they'd do anything just to avoid working.
I am a veteran. We fought long and hard for y'all to have all these freedoms, and look at the thanks we get.
The couple who had been stuck inside gave up on her and simply walked out. After that, Janiyah ordered the doors locked. Suddenly, the fake bomb started beeping. The police outside were waiting for the bomb squad to arrive. But before they got there, Janiyah deactivated the device, and everyone inside let out a sigh of relief. Janiyah began telling Raymond about her difficult life,
I never stole nothing a day in my life.
how she had lost her job and her home. Meanwhile, the cashier secretly live-streamed her confession on her phone,
I told you I wasn't robbing this bank.
which was how the entire country learned her story.
I can't come out there and let them shoot me.
No one is gonna shoot you.
The woman also admitted she was terrified of the aggressive cop.
Said if he sees me again, he's gonna blow my brains out.
After finishing her story, Janiyah shut off all the security cameras. At that point, Nicole led Janiyah into her office and showed her a photo of her family.
Big brick house in the suburbs, huh?
She had children too. Maybe, she suggested, it was time for Janiyah to stop. If she surrendered now, her daughter would still have time to see her after prison. Janiyah hesitated but finally agreed.
So they get rid of that cop. Come on.
Though only after they dealt with that ruthless cop. By then, FBI agents had already arrived at the bank. That evening, Janiyah's support group had gathered outside. Shockingly, they didn't seem to care that she had killed an innocent man. But how on earth did things get so bad that they drove her to this point?
I'm homeless. She didn't hardly have nothing. But she made sure I had something to eat.
The FBI forced the local cops back and took control of the operation. Janiyah complained to the hostages about how she didn't even have air conditioning at home. One of the older women, a grandmother, reminded her that she was born in the 1940s and had lived her entire life without air conditioning.
We didn't even know anything about an air conditioner or a bathroom where I grew up. Y'all just don't know how good you got it.
And in conditions far worse than what Janiyah was describing. Janiyah then told her daughter how seriously ill she was.
I will talk to my husband, and I know he will say yes.
She learned that her grandmother had diabetes.
Oh, no. Okay, we gotta let her out.
So she quickly allowed the elderly woman to leave the bank. Outside, the crowd began chanting joyfully for Janiyah's freedom. But the pressure grew even more when an FBI agent called her directly, taunting and harassing her. Furious, Janiyah lost her temper again, and suddenly the bomb started beeping once more. Panic filled the bank. Everyone thought they were about to be blown up.
Oh my, just hang up the phone.
But at the last moment, Janiyah managed to deactivate the device.
My daughter made this.
It's not a bomb.
She was stunned that everyone actually believed she had brought a real bomb with her. Meanwhile, Tessa asked to go to the bathroom, and while there, she secretly left a message for the police. The bomb was fake, and her boss was planning to cover it up. The truth was, the fake bomb had been the only thing keeping the police from storming the bank and keeping Janiyah from being shot on the spot. Meanwhile, detectives figured out who had rammed Janiyah's car earlier that day. In the chaos outside, the aggressive cop got punched in the face and thrown out of the parking lot.
He gave her a fucking ticket. He ran off the road. He caused all this shit.
Inside, Raymond assured Janiyah she didn't need to be afraid anymore, but she demanded proof.
I want you to prove to me that you know who it is.
She told them to send her a photo of the cop and expose him publicly as the coward he was. Even though Janiyah had already agreed to surrender, the FBI decided it was time to storm the bank. Raymond defied orders and rushed inside instead. Did Janiyah the phone so she could see the photo of the cop for herself.
That's him! That's him! I told you I wasn't lying!
Relieved, Janiyah immediately allowed all the hostages to walk free. Everyone except Nicole, who stayed behind to leave the bank at her side.
No, go on. What are you doing? Go on.
Will you visit me in prison? Janiyah asked softly. Yes, I promise. Don't forget to give my baby $40 for lunch.
I will come visit you with Aria, and I will tell her what a brave mother you are.
But then Janiyah's mother suddenly called, begging her to calm down.
I didn't mean to do this!
Janiyah.
What?
The truth came crashing down. Her daughter was already gone. Arya had suffered a seizure the day before, and her grandmother had rushed her to the hospital. In fact, that very morning, Janiyah had woken up alone in bed. She hadn't bathed anyone, hadn't prepared lunch for anyone, and had simply been talking to herself on the way to school. That was why the teacher had looked at her so strangely. Back at work, she had only imagined the call from the school. The horrifying realization hit her. Arya was gone.
Baby died. I know. She died last night.
At that exact moment, SWAT stormed the building. They ordered Janiyah to put her hands up, and seconds later, opened fire. The officers dragged Nicole out of the way and surrounded Janiyah's lifeless body. But then, it shifted again. It wasn't real. It was just another one of Janiyah's fractured fantasies. In reality, the bank manager convinced her to step outside and surrender peacefully. As she was led away, the crowd outside applauded her. But Richard's family, the family of the man she had killed, was nowhere to be seen. And that was the last straw. A wild roller coaster of desperation, chaos, and one mother's fight against the system. If you enjoyed this recap and want more crazy and jaw-dropping movie stories told just like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and ring the bell so you never miss the next one.